Junior guard number 1, West. Junior guard number 2, Lionel Santiago. Junior guard number 5, Anthony. Senior forward number 12, Samantha White. Junior forward number 32, Tiara Jackson. The Redhawks are coached by Jesse Ford. And now this one, for your Fighting Saints, sophomore guard of Frankfurt, Illinois, number 3, sophomore guard of Illinois, number 31, Mia Kelly. Sophomore guard of St. Charles, Illinois, number 25, Talia Pellegrini. Junior guard out of Toronto, Australia, number 10, Georgia Bolton. Freshman center out of Belgium, Illinois, number 31, Bailey Johnson. Your Fighting Saints are coached by John McGinty.
Good afternoon from Joliet, Illinois. Welcome to today's CCAC basketball matchup between the University of St. Francis and Indiana University Northwest. Terry Bonadonna with you for the call of today's matchup as the host Fighting Saints try to make it back-to-back home wins. They're looking for their third consecutive victory overall this year. They come in with an overall record of 5-3. They're 2-0 against CCAC foes. A little bit better early on this season than Indiana Northwest, who comes in with a 4-4 mark. They have won one of their first two conference matchups. They've had a very difficult schedule early in the year. This is projected to be one of the best teams in the CCAC, so they'll try to prove it today against a St. Francis team that they swept last year. They're at center court for the opening tip. It's Bailey Johnson, the freshman, ready to jump for the Saints against Tiara Jackson of the Redhawks. And the tip is won by Indiana Northwest. The Redhawks are in black and going from left to right. The Saints are in white. They'll be going from right to left for the first half of today's game. Indiana Northwest trying to break out to an early lead. It's Jackson, double team down low and traveling. Bailey Johnson had good defense on Tiara Jackson there. Thormeyer came over to help, and Jackson was flustered. She stumbled to the floor, took a step, and got called for the turnover. So 20 seconds into the game, a good start for the Fighting Saints as they look to score first in today's contest. Lorelei Thormeyer handling the point guard duties, joined by Georgia Bolton, Mia Kennelly, Bailey Johnson, and Talia Pellegrini in the starting lineup. This is Johnson at the top of the key. She turns and fires a long two-point jumper. No good, but Kennelly tips the rebound to herself. Nice work by Mia Kennelly, who's now stuck in the corner. Able to get it out to Lorelei Thormeyer. Thormeyer drives, lays it up. No. Johnson there for the follow. Third chance bucket for the Fighting Saints. Good opening possession for St. Francis. Now the Redhawks will try to answer. Alina Santiago sets up their offense with Michaela Best, Caitlin Halfacre, Samantha Martin, and Tiara Jackson in the starting lineup. This is Martin working her way into the paint. Martin shoots over Pellegrini and scores. Pellegrini gave her a half step. Martin was able to take advantage. And Samantha Martin ties the score at 2, an 8-point per game scorer this season for Indiana Northwest. Tied up almost a minute and a half in. It's the Fighting Saints with possession. Georgia Bolton passes to Bailey Johnson, who scored the opening 2 points for the Saints. Now Mia Kennelly on the drive, kicks it out to Pellegrini. Three-pointer is good. Shots are falling in Joliet early in today's game. Talia Pellegrini hits it from the outside, just a 28% three-point shooter on the season. But Pellegrini gives the Saints a 3-point lead. Jackson tries to answer on the other end. She's blocked by the backboard. Thormeyer slides to a stop and trying to grab that rebound, but Jackson, after missing the shot, comes in at the back end of that play and forces the held ball, which sends it to St. Francis. Possession arrow favors the Saints after the Redhawks won the opening tip. So the Saints can take a 5 or 6 point lead on this possession. They've scored both of the first 2 times they've had the ball. First possession, they missed a couple of shots, but 2 offensive rebounds gave them the early lead. Pellegrini hit the 3 the second time they had it. Now they're trying to make it 3 for 3. Johnson turnaround jumper, no good. Johnson's been active from the outside early today. She scored her 2 points in the paint, but she's taken a couple of jumpers from the top of the key as well. Here's Halfacre on the drive. Nobody there to stop her, and an easy layup for the junior guard, Caitlin Halfacre. Nice fake from Halfacre, and the rest of it was easy. 1-point game. Bolton passes to Talia Pellegrini on the left wing. Pellegrini fakes right, drives left, runs into the defender and has to kick it back outside. Here's Bolton from the corner along the baseline. Georgia Bolton works her way underneath the basket, flips it towards the hoop, no good. Nice save, Kennelly. Pellegrini for 3, in and out. Mia Kennelly's got a pair of offensive rebounds already. Nearly gave Pellegrini her second 3-pointer of the game, but Talia missed, and Halfacre does not. Caitlin Halfacre has the last 4 for IUNW, and that means that the Redhawks have the lead for the first time today, 6-5. High post, Johnson kicks it out to Thormeyer. Thormeyer streaks in from the wing, kicks it back out. Kennelly to Johnson in the paint. Johnson off the glass, no good. Rebound, Kennelly. 3 offensive rebounds for Mia Kennelly. 4 offensive rebounds for Kennelly as Bolton misses the 3. Another chance for the Fighting Saints. Georgia Bolton can't bank it home, and she gets her own miss. 4th chance of the possession for St. Francis. Kennelly for 3, no good. The shots are not going right now for the Fighting Saints. They are keeping possessions alive, but not able to capitalize on 3 offensive rebounds on that possession. Tiara Jackson misses a jumper. Pellegrini grabs the miss. Pellegrini off to the races. 3 defenders in front of her. She peels off. Out to the point guard, Thormeyer. Dished off to Kennelly. Saints reset, 20 on the shot clock. Talia Pellegrini carries it inside with the left hand. Flips it towards the hoop, well short on the layup. And the rebound goes to Samantha Martin. Saints are playing well in most ways early on, but the most important way they're not. They're just not putting the ball in the hoop, as Best does just that, knocking down the 3-pointer. And Best gives Indiana Northwest a 4-point lead. 7-0 run for the Redhawks, who trailed 5-2 about 3 minutes ago in game action. The game action and the actual clock are about in sync right now, considering there have not been any fouls, no timeouts so far. It's been a pretty steady moving ball game so far. 7 on the shot clock for Kennelly. She sends it to Johnson at the free throw line. Bailey Johnson drives, spins, shoots, and scores. Jesse Ford is beside himself, the head coach of Indiana Northwest. Didn't see how that wasn't to travel, but Johnson gets the benefit of no call and has her 3rd and 4th points of the game. Caitlin Halfacre does her 1 better, 3 better in fact. That's 7 points now for Halfacre. And Indiana Northwest leads by 5. 12-7, 4:40 to play in the first quarter. Thormeyer passes to Bolton, who swings it around to Kennelly on the wing. Back top to Talia Pellegrini. Saints move it around the perimeter. It's Kennelly bouncing into Bailey Johnson, double teamed out to the open Georgia Bolton. Bolton drives and kicks. Corner 3 misses from Lorelei Thormeyer, and this time Indiana Northwest is able to come away with the first rebound. Poked away by Georgia Bolton out of bounds. Nice job anticipating that pass. We've got a rare stoppage in this game as the 2 sides go to their benches. Takara Harrison is in for the Fighting Saints. Indiana Northwest brings in 5'10" guard Emma Schmidt. Ball nearly knocked away from Jackson, keeps it alive against Bailey Johnson. She's able to get around her and lay it in. Tiara Jackson has her first 2 of the game. She is the leading scorer on the floor right now for Indiana Northwest, averaging double figures on the season. Harrison tries to get around Schmidt. I think Schmidt got a piece of that one as Harrison comes up short. Here comes the hot shooter, Halfacre. Backed up, passed off to Michaela Best. Santiago drives on Kennelly, and she's bumped on the floor. 6 minutes and 25 seconds into the game, we've got our first foul called. And it goes against Mia Kennelly. A bump on the drive from Alina Santiago. Inbounded to Halfaker, trying to get around Harrison. She fakes, spins, and passes. Here's Schmitz out to Michaela Best. Bounce down low to Jackson. Jackson walks it towards the rim, lays it up and in. A timeout called by John McGinty on the St. Francis sideline. 3:21 to play. First quarter, 16-7. Indiana Northwest has the lead. They're on a 14-2 run after a good start for the Fighting Saints. Saints scored on their first 2 possessions, but since then they've struggled. Bevy of offensive rebounds early in the game, but their shots aren't falling. Got an early 3 from Talia Pellegrini, but they've missed everyone they've taken since then. And Indiana Northwest has found their stroke offensively, putting up 16 here in the first nearly 7 minutes of action. It's a tough Indiana Northwest team. They came in averaging 71 points per game, one of the best offensive teams in the conference. They came in with a record of just 4-4, in large part because they haven't had their full complement of players for most of the season. Tiara Jackson has only played in half of them. Jessica Carruthers, their leading scorer, has only played in 3 games this year. Lorelei Thormeyer works inside the three-point line and backs up. Johnson, nice feed to Thormeyer, who misses the layup. Kennelly there for another offensive rebound, but she misses underneath. Saints are missing everything right now from the outside and the inside. 2 good looks from underneath the basket. Missed them both. Kennelly, though, 5 offensive rebounds in the first quarter alone. Poked away from Halfaker, and she touched it last. Halfaker didn't go after that ball, as though she thought it was last touched by Harrison. That was not the call. And the Saints take over. Pellegrini checks out. Georgia Bolton, who had less than a minute's rest, is right back out there. Thormeyer hands it off to Bolton. Here's Kennelly driving in with the left hand, backing in on Schmidt. Kicked outside, Bolton. Bolton bounces to Bailey Johnson, leading scorer for the Saints so far. Here's Thormeyer from the corner, missing another 3. Another good look for the Saints. That rattled around the rim, did not fall. Here come the Red Hawks. Halfaker again from the outside. This time she misses. She had made 3 out of 3 for 7 points, but not that time. Harrison floats it high over Jackson, no good, and Johnson is fouled going back up. Been talking a lot about Mia Kennelly, but Bailey Johnson has a few offensive rebounds today as well. Already has 2 second chance points, technically third chance points. Trying for a few more here from the free throw line. Bailey Johnson, the impressive freshman out of Larkin High School up north, shooting 77% from the line. But she misses this one. Johnson came into today's game averaging 8 points per game. That's 3rd on the team. The top 2 scorers for St. Francis are Leilani Harris, who's out with an injury, and Akaya Baker, who has seen her minutes diminish of late. Johnson misses both free throws, so even from the foul line, Saints can't pry that lid from the rim. Samantha Martin, turnaround from the free throw line, misses it off the back iron, and the rebound goes to Kennelly, closing in on double-digit rebounds here in the first quarter. Kennelly to Harrison, down to the corner, Georgia Bolton. Bolton drives into the lane, up with the right hand, doesn't get the roll, but she does get her own rebound. She's got a few offensive rebounds here today. Thormeyer backs up as the Saints reset, 15 to shoot. Bailey Johnson out to Georgia Bolton, gets the screen from Johnson. Bolton drives, lays it up, and in. Finally, the Saints are back on the board. They've been working hard on the offensive end, and it pays off this time. 16-9, just over a minute to play. First quarter. Martin posting up on Johnson. Bolton comes over to help. Martin stuck, finally gets it out to Santiago. Along the baseline, she's fouled, and that's going to be number 2 on Mia Kennelly. So that's a costly foul. It's only the second called against the Saints, but they've both been against Kennelly, who has played really well early on today, but she's going to have to go to the bench as Pellegrini comes back in. Kiki Gray comes off the sideline in order to replace Bailey Johnson, who gets a rest after 9 straight minutes of action. Turnaround for Emma Schmidt, no good. Rebounded by Gray. Fired ahead for Pellegrini. Talia Pellegrini drives. She tries to force contact, doesn't get the call. Halfacre knocks it away. And Aline Santiago comes away with it. Santiago to Schmidt, up top, Halfacre. Halfacre three-pointer, short. Rebound Martin. Martin takes it in herself and scores. Saints have been dominating the offensive glass today. That time, Indiana Northwest gave them a taste of their own medicine, an offensive rebound, and it leads to 2 points for Indiana Northwest, something the Saints haven't been able to do a lot of, capitalizing off those second chances. Here's Thormeyer. 7 seconds on the clock for the quarter. Harrison puts it on the floor, takes it inside, 2 seconds. Harrison leans, shoots, and misses, and that's how the first quarter ends. The first quarter dominated by Indiana Northwest on the scoreboard. Didn't necessarily feel like that on the court for much of the period, but all that really matters is that score, which currently shows the visiting side with a pretty healthy lead. After the Saints got off to a good start, they scored on their first 2 possessions, taking a 5-2 advantage, and then only scored on 2 possessions total the rest of the quarter. They'll try to turn things around going forward, but it's been a pretty simple equation to how they got where they are right now. It's just a lot of missed shots. So the big key for the Fighting Saints is going to be to convert some of those chances that they've had. It's not a very adept shooting team. Saints are shooting just 36% from the field overall this season, 28% from three-point range. So it hasn't exactly been uncharacteristic, their performance today, but it's not what they would like to see, and especially against a team like Indiana Northwest, who does shoot well and who scores pretty efficiently. The Redhawks this year on offense average 71, nearly 72 points per game. They're shooting 43% overall from the field on the season. Today they've been a heck of a lot better than that, 8 of 14, 2 of 4 from three-point range. Fighting Saints, 4 for 23 so far. That's 17% from the field. When you look at a number like that, sometimes you try to find the bright side and say, we're only down by 9. After getting 9 more opportunities, but shooting just 17% from the field. Alina Santiago passes off to Samantha Martin, who spins into the paint. Martin, turnaround, up with the right hand and in. Samantha Martin has 6 points for Indiana Northwest. They've got their biggest lead of the game at 20-9. Takara Harrison fires the 3 and misses. Rebound tipped by Gray. She can't pull it in. And Talia Pellegrini is called for the foul, grabbing Emma Schmidt on her way by. First foul on Pellegrini. Mia Kennelly checks back in for her. Kennelly's got 2 fouls. So you figure John McGinty will be pretty judicious about the way that he uses her the rest of the half. But she gets some action here early in the second quarter. Santiago gets it down low. Martin, short jumper is good. Took advantage of the fact that Kennelly was playing with 2 fouls. Mia Kennelly's defense was not especially aggressive there, and Martin was able to take advantage by hitting the jumper for her 5th and 6th point, or make that her 7th and 8th points of the game. Now the game's leader. Kennelly up top to Bolton. Lorelei Thormeyer drives and kicks. Deep 3, Kennelly. Got it. Her first from the outside today. Her first points of the game to go along with 6 rebounds. And the Fighting Saints are back within 10. Santiago passes to Schmidt on the right. Schmidt fires the 3 and misses off the backboard. Long stare down with the rim there. I mean, not the most well-advised shot from Emma Schmidt. See if the Saints can turn it into points. They can't. Kennelly throws it away. It's intercepted, going the other way and scoring off the glass. Abby Tomlin has her first points today. 24-12. The Redhawks are doubling up the Saints. It's the first turnover of the game for St. Francis. And not a good one. Leads to two easy ones for Indiana Northwest. Thormeyer for three. No good. Rebound to Tiara Jackson. Inside, Jackson can't score. Gets her own rebound, tries again, she's fouled. So Tiara Jackson will go to the free throw line. First foul shots of the game coming up for Indiana Northwest. Bailey Johnson checks in for Kiki Gray. Georgia Bolton was called for the foul. It's number 1 on her. Jackson shooting just 60% from the line this year. She makes the first and now has 5 points in the game. Saints were not successful on their free throw attempts earlier. They went 0 for 2. Just 1 turnover so far in the game for the Fighting Saints as the free throw misses. Offensive rebound, Samantha Martin. That was the second offensive rebound for Indiana Northwest. The Saints have 9 of them. Hence a vast disparity in terms of shots taken by these two schools as Schmidt squeezes her way between a couple of defenders and flips it in. Nice drive by Emma Schmidt as she's on the board for the first time. 15-point lead for Indiana Northwest. Johnson over to Harrison. Harrison gets the screen, drives, pulls up from the free throw line, no good. Long rebound tracked down by Alina Santiago. Off to the right side, it's Tomlin. Jackson thought about the long shot. Instead, she throws it inside for Martin. Martin gets a little push in the back from Lorelei Thormeyer, and Thormeyer is called for the foul. Number 3 on St. Francis, first on Lorelei. Substitutes coming in for the Redhawks. Alexia Alvarez is in for the first time. Michaela Best and Caitlin Halfacre return to the floor. Martin fires it inside for Alvarez, an easy 2 for her. Alexia Alvarez just 5'3" tall, but she was left all alone. You hate to ever see that from any player as a coach for St. Francis, to see an open look underneath the basket, but when the shortest player on the floor is able to get an uncontested layup, it probably galls you a little bit more. 29-12 is our score. 6:34 to play in the first half, and this one has obviously been all Indiana Northwest so far. The Redhawks are cleaning up some of the issues from the first quarter. They have not allowed St. Francis to get those second, third, fourth opportunities on the offensive end that they were getting early in the game. Saints still have only turned it over once, but I've talked about it a lot. They've played a good game overall. There are not many mistakes on the stat sheet that you could point to. But the problem has been shooting. Shooting has been an issue all throughout this game. It just has not been cleaned up yet to this point. I was talking about during the last time out as well, that it's not a team that hangs its hat on shooting to begin with. For the season, it's something they've struggled at. But not to the extent that they have today. I mentioned the numbers before. 36% overall on the season. 28% on three-pointers, but today they're below 20% on both 2s and 3s, and doesn't take into account the fact that they've missed their only 2 free throw attempts of the game as well. Indiana Northwest shot the ball well in the first quarter. They've done everything well so far in the second quarter, offensively and defensively, and they've built up a big lead. Saints will try to cut into it before halftime. A drive from Georgia Bolton, up with the right hand, no good. Good drive and pivot there from Bolton, but not quite able to finish it off. Here's Best. Flips it to the outside, Halfacre down to the corner. Alvarez 3. She's got the last 5 for the Redhawks after checking in just a minute ago. Alexia Alvarez is 2 of 2 from the field. Alvarez had not scored all season coming into today. In fact, she had only taken 2 shots. She's matched that today. And this time she's made them both, as Johnson is fouled a long way from the basket. Frustrating foul for Indiana Northwest, but doesn't frustrate you quite as much when you've got the 20-point lead. Halfacre whistled for her first, grabbing Bailey Johnson. Here's Thormeyer on the drive, pulls up from the elbow, kicks it outside. Pellegrini back out to Thormeyer. Thormeyer along the baseline, reverse layup, no. Johnson offensive rebound, blocked from behind by Jackson. Big block from Tiara Jackson, and now the Redhawks are on the run. It's Alvarez. Up top, Halfacre finds a wide open shooter. Michaela Best misses that three-pointer badly. Taken away by Martin, layup, got it. Saints caught a break there. Michaela Best couldn't have been more open, and she didn't even get the rim on the shot, but they couldn't hang on to the rebound, and they paid for it, 34-12. Canelli to Pellegrini. Pellegrini drives. Backing in, she picks up her dribble, gives it up to the cutting Canelli. Trying to find Bailey Johnson. It's kicked out of bounds by Indiana Northwest. And the ball stays with the Fighting Saints. Shot clock at 20. Takara Harrison is back in. Harrison's been the primary player off the bench for the Saints so far in this game. Gray played a couple of minutes early, but only a couple. It's really been a 6-player rotation so far. Pellegrini drives, looking around for help, finds Canelli at the top. Shot clock under 10 for Johnson. Johnson passes to the cutting Harrison, and Harrison is fouled by Alvarez on her way to the hoop. So Takara Harrison heads to the line. Saints are 0 of 2 on free throw attempts today, but Harrison makes her first. 7 of 9 on the season from the line for Harrison. That was her first point of the game. And now she's got 2. (34-14). A lot of time left in this game. St. Francis will try to step up the defensive pressure a little bit to cut into this Indiana Northwest lead as the ball is deflected by Georgia Bolton into the backcourt. Did it cross half court? Jesse Ford is saying it did. It would be a 10-second call if not. The whistle blew, which I would think would indicate the 10-second violation in the backcourt. Indiana Northwest is claiming that it crossed half court before it was deflected back. And it looks like they've won their argument. So John McGinty's asking the officials to get together to make sure that they're making the right call. If the ball crossed half court, it was deflected by St. Francis, so it would not be a backcourt violation. If it didn't cross half court, then the deflection doesn't mean anything. Indiana Northwest has got to get it across the timeline in 10 seconds, which they didn't. And the whistle blew. The only reason the whistle would blow is because of a 10-second call. And I think it was the same official who blew the whistle to initially say 10 seconds, and then he changed his mind and said, no, the ball did cross half court, so it'll stay with the Redhawks. So he's already changed his mind once, and that's why Coach McGinty said, you better check with your pals over there. So all three of them are talking it out right now. It's a simple issue. It really is as simple as did it cross half court or not. I think they're saying it did cross half court prior to the St. Francis deflection, because it looks like they're giving the ball to the Redhawks. So 19 on the shot clock. It stays with Indiana Northwest. Passed across court and intercepted by Mia Canelli. Canelli going one-on-one with Alvarez, and she's fouled. Good defense from Mia Canelli, and she's going to try to turn it into 2 points as she goes to the line. Saints made their last 2 free throws. Canelli hasn't been there a lot this year. She's been good when she has, though, 5 of 6 from the line. She makes her first. Canelli was a major story early in the game with the rebounding that she did early. 5 offensive rebounds in the first quarter. She's still sitting on 6 rebounds total for the game, but now she's added 5 points over the last few minutes. Hit a 3-pointer a couple of minutes ago, and now the 2 free throws make it an 18-point deficit. And nearly another steal for Kennelly as she jumped in front of the pass, knocked it out of bounds, intended for Sarah Martin underneath the basket. It'll be an inbounds play for Indiana Northwest. Santiago passes it in to Martin, turnaround, no good. Rebound grab by Johnson. Here comes Thormeyer, shoveling it off to Kennelly. She's been the hot hand, but she misses the 3-pointer here. The rebound goes to Jackson. 4 minutes to play in the half. Indiana Northwest has hit a little bit of a cold spell offensively. Foul called on Thormeyer. It's number 2 on her. That's the 4th on the team, so they've hit their foul limit for the quarter.
St. Francis foul number 3 goal on Thormeyer, her second. Team score.
Saints have been able to cut a little bit into the 22-point deficit, down to 18 now during the cold stretch for Indiana Northwest. Jackson lays it up and misses. Good defense from Johnson. And another rebound for Kennelly. Saints have a chance to inch closer. It's Harrison out to Thormeyer, swung around to Kennelly, who drives. Kennelly backing in, kicks outside. 17 to shoot. Johnson gets a touch down low. Johnson up with the right hand. Can't finish, but she is fouled. Tiara Jackson sends Bailey Johnson to the free throw line with 3:24 to play in the half. Johnson got off to a good start, 4 points early, but hasn't scored since. She's 0 of 2 at the line, and she misses another. Nearly an 80% shooter on free throws coming into play today. Akaya Baker is in for Lorelei Thormeyer, who sits down for the first time today. Johnson misses again. She's 0 for 4 from the free throw line. And the Saints continue to trail by 18. First appearance today for Baker. Ball knocked loose, diving on the floor. Best is able to keep it alive for the Red Hawks. Here's Santiago. Pass deflected by Harrison, and Harrison is fouled going after the loose ball. It's the 5th on Indiana Northwest. It was not an offensive foul. The ball had already been knocked loose, so this does mean 2 free throws for Takara Harrison, who made them both last time she went to the line. She's 3 for 3. It's been 2.5 minutes since Indiana Northwest has scored. Saints haven't lit up the scoreboard during that time. Harrison makes her second. She heads to the bench. Pellegrini comes in. No, excuse me, Kennelly goes to the bench. Pellegrini comes in. But again, we're early enough in the game that they don't need to pick up big bunches of points here. Just the 6-0 run they've gone on has put them back in position where they feel like they're in it. Halfacre fires to Martin. Martin, pull up from inside the free throw line, no good. Rebound St. Francis. Harrison gives it to Baker, 3-pointer, no good. First field goal attempt of the game for Akaya Baker, the transfer from Detroit Mercy. Just checked into the game for the first time a moment ago. Nice dribbling from Michaela Best as she works her way inside but misses the shot. Fight for the rebound, and it's going to be a jump ball, possession arrow to the Fighting Saints. Indiana Northwest was off to a scorching start, but they've slowed down considerably. They've made just one of their last 5 shots. John McGinty fired up right now, still yelling at the official. He's already been run from the game. I saw the technical, I didn't realize he had been ejected, but he's done. So John McGinty is out. 34-18 our score. Indiana Northwest has gone through a rough patch offensively, but they're going to be given some free opportunities from the free throw line here. John McGinty yelling all the way off the court. He's popped back onto the floor now on his way back to the locker. Now just trying to fire up his team's bench. 2:31 to play. First half, and Adam Schwarzentraub is going to take over as the head coach of the Fighting Saints the rest of the way. The officials are going to get together and talk this one over right now. I think trying to figure out exactly what the ruling is in terms of how many foul shots Indiana Northwest is going to get out of this. The double technical given to McGinty. 34-18 is our score. Indiana Northwest is on top. Hope you were able to pick up some of the conversation through our microphone here. Very genteel talk between John McGinty and our officials. It's been a heated game so far. Both coaches have been fired up at various times, although Jesse Ford over on the Indiana Northwest sideline has had reason to be calm with his team in front by double digits for the last 8 minutes or so of game action. Caitlin Halfacre's the one charged with putting her team ahead by more than 16 as she goes to the line. I think it'll be 2 shots on the ball for Indiana Northwest. Halfacre's a good shooter. She does not get herself to the line, though. That's only her 4th free throw attempt of the season. This will be number 5. And she hits the first 2. She's going to get 2 more for the double technical. That's when I wish I had been inside that referee's huddle. Understand the rules better myself. 4 free throws for Halfacre. And they're without their head coach the rest of the way. That's a loss for St. Francis, but that's a big, big turnaround that Indiana Northwest gets 4 free points and the ball back during a stretch when, yeah, they've controlled this whole game, but they had gone through a cold snap. They hadn't scored in close to 3 minutes. And now they're back in control of the 20-point lead and the ball in their possession. Saints have been playing really strong defense the last few minutes. We'll see if they can get back into it after the delay there. Pass deflected by Bolton and taken away by Takara Harrison. Ahead for Pellegrini. Talia Pellegrini got in too deep. Laid it off the bottom of the backboard. Here come the Red Hawks. Down to the corner, it's Halfacre for 3. Air ball. Here comes Akaya Baker. Strip from Baker. Halfacre got the strip, and Schmidt is there to pick up the loose ball. Offense just hasn't come around for the Saints. The defense has really picked up over the last few minutes, but they're not converting on the other end. There's a steal and a foul called on the Fighting Saints. First foul on Bailey Johnson, number 5 on the team, so that means free throws for Indiana Northwest. I guess number 7, the 2 technicals against McGinty did count against the total. Free throw is good. 5 straight points from the free throw line for Indiana Northwest. They've turned a 16-point game into a 21-point lead. Second shot misses. They still haven't scored from the field in now 4 minutes. It's a team that had been shooting close to 70% prior to that run. Takara Harrison's pass deflected. Bolton chases it down. Just 8 on the shot clock. Georgia Bolton kicks it outside to Baker. 3-pointer off the back of the rim, and it bounces over the backboard and out of bounds. 70 seconds to play in the half. Baker checks out. Thormeyer comes in. Kennelly comes back on the floor as well as Georgia Bolton checks out. Kennelly's been playing this entire second quarter with 2 fouls. Hasn't picked up a third. And she's played well. Emma Schmidt cross court, intercepted by Kennelly. Playing safety once again for the Fighting Saints. Here's Pellegrini for 3. Got it. That's a big shot late in the first half as the Saints try to get back into it. 18-point game. Final minute of play. Here's Emma Schmidt. In for Best. Best turnaround, got it. First field goal in 5 minutes for Indiana Northwest, but their lead is up to 20. They had scored 5 from the free throw line in the interim. 7 seconds between the shot and game clocks. Thormeyer sets up the Saints offense. Here's Kennelly at the free throw line, kicked out to Pellegrini. Back to Mia Kennelly behind the three-point arc. 6 to shoot for Johnson. Kennelly wide open from up top. Got it. 3 points for Mia Kennelly. 17-point game. Kennelly gets the steal. With the clock running down, her layup is blocked, but she's fouled. Under a second to play in the half. Mia Kennelly has come up big late in the first half for the Fighting Saints, trying to make sure that this is still a competition going into the second half. She scored the 3 off of a steal, another steal here. And she's got another point. Huge first half today for Mia Kennelly. She's closing in on a double-double in the first 20 minutes. And that despite being in foul trouble for much of the half. She's got 10 points. 9/10 of a second. And Indiana Northwest doesn't try to get a shot off. So the free throws late in the first half have kept Indiana Northwest in the contest. John McGinty was tossed. The Redhawks got 4 free points out of it. Adam Schwarzentraub, the head coach, the rest of the way as the Fighting Saints will try to come back from 15 down at the half. 41-26 is our score. 20 minutes still to play. I'll be back with those in about 15. We'll talk then. It's halftime here in Joliet. This one's been pretty lopsided so far. Indiana Northwest leading St. Francis 41-26. Terry Bonadonna back with you for the second half of action. As the Fighting Saints try to play comeback, they've already started. They were down at one point by 22. Were able to get it down to 15 before the end of the half. The defense really picked up for the Fighting Saints. Indiana Northwest made just one field goal over the last 5 minutes of the first half. The problem was that they also saw Indiana Northwest score 5 free throws. 4 of those came on John McGinty's double technical foul. The St. Francis coach was ejected from the game. So Adam Schwarzentraub is the head coach for the Saints for the second half today. Here's what he's got to work with. Probably the best half of Mia Kennelly's career in a St. Francis uniform. 10 points, 7 rebounds, 3 steals for the sophomore. Saints got 6 points from Talia Pellegrini, but overall they shot just 19% from the field. Indiana Northwest shot 53%. They had 11 points from Caitlin Halfacre, 10 from Samantha Martin. Tiara Jackson leads the way with 10 rebounds for Indiana Northwest. Really, the first half story, and I've said it many times, the St. Francis Saints just couldn't put the ball in the basket. They played a really strong half in most other regards. They played tough defense, forced more turnovers than they committed. They, for the most part, out-rebounded Indiana Northwest. They ended the half at 23-23, but they were out-rebounding them most of the way. Certainly on the offensive end, 10 offensive rebounds compared to 3 for the Red Hawks. Lorelei Thormeyer driving to start the second half. Inside Johnson. Bailey Johnson is fouled right away by Tiara Jackson. The formula is pretty simple for the Saints. Keep playing the game they're playing, keep getting the looks they're getting, and just get them to go. At some point, if you can't make your shots, you're not going to win regardless of who you're playing. To me, the most telling stat from the first half, the Saints out-rebounded the Red Hawks 10-3 on the offensive glass. But second chance points, Indiana Northwest had 5, the Saints only 4. There's the 4th turnover of the game committed by St. Francis, but they take it right back away. Mia Kennelly again jumps in front of the pass. She's done that 4 times today. Talia Pellegrini out to Lorelei Thormeyer. Inside Bailey Johnson, working hard, but she can't finish. 8 turnovers committed by the Red Hawks now compared to 4 by the Saints. Michaela Best leads the offense for Indiana Northwest. Whistle blows, and 3 seconds is called on Tiara Jackson. I think I started to hear the calls from the St. Francis bench for a 3-second call to be made about 3 seconds before the call actually was. Players tend to get away with that one. It's extremely rare that officials call 3 seconds unless a player hangs out for 5 or 6 seconds in the paint. Pellegrini for 3. Got it. Second three-pointer today for Talia Pellegrini. Timeout called by Indiana Northwest. Saints are on a roll going back to the end of the first half. They were down by 20. They've scored the last 8 points in a row. Pellegrini's got 9 now. She is 3 of 4 from three-point range. The rest of the team has gone just 2 of 11, both of those coming from Mia Kennelly. That's what they've been looking for all day, just somebody to get hot. If Pellegrini finds her stroke, well, that might force a little extra attention to the outside and maybe give Bailey Johnson more easy chances from in the paint. Johnson has been, as I said before, working hard down low throughout this game, but hasn't been able to get much to fall. Saints ended the first half at 19% from the field. So far here in the second half, they've made 1 of 2 attempts. So they're up to 21% for the game. 8:46 to play third quarter. This is a game here. It looked like Indiana Northwest might run away and hide. They were up by 22 midway through the second quarter. But since then, they've made just 1 field goal. They've got the ball right now coming out of a timeout. Jackson inside, able to lay it in off a nice pass from Halfacre. Good cut from Tiara Jackson. Good play out of a timeout, up by 14. Here's Pellegrini. Knocked away from her at the free throw line and scooped up by Santiago. A steal for Indiana Northwest. Here's Michaela Best on the drive. Runner off the glass, no good. Fight for the rebound, won by Jackson. Knocked out of her hands, and she's fouled. Foul is called on Mia Kennelly, number 3 on Kennelly. She played most of the first half in foul trouble, played exceptionally well. But she sits down now after picking up her third. Takara Harrison comes in. Inbounded to Martin. Martin, turnaround, no. Rebound Harrison. Ahead for Georgia Bolton. Bolton drives. Bolton blocked by Jackson, and a foul called on Tiara Jackson. So Georgia Bolton's going to the free throw line. Number 2 on Jackson. She makes the first. Jackson was given the old Dikembe Mutombo rejection. I thought she was going to get teed up for that. And that would be the ultimate insult to injury, to get a technical for a block that doesn't even count because it's a foul. But they didn't call the technical, so the Saints settle for 2 points on that possession. It's back to a 12-point game. Halfacre misses from close range. Offensive rebound Jackson. Kicked outside. Halfacre for 3. No good off the rim. Rebound chased down by Tiara Jackson. All of a sudden, it's the Red Hawks who are dominating the offensive boards. Drive from Santiago. No, another chance for Jackson. 4th chance of the possession. Indiana Northwest scores, and down by double digits. Saints can't afford to see possessions like that after it appeared that they had come up with a stop multiple times. Harrison over to Pellegrini. Back to Takara Harrison. Her three-pointer falls. First field goal of the game for Takara Harrison. She's got 7 points overall, and the Saints are within 11. The drive from Alina Santiago. Her pass is behind Jackson and intercepted by Pellegrini. Saints can cut it to single digits. It hasn't been there since early in the second quarter. Thormeyer sets up the offense. Gives it to Harrison. Up top, Georgia Bolton, 15 to shoot. Thormeyer again. This is from the left wing. She drives, pulls up, kicks outside. Harrison tries to make it 2 in a row, but she rims out on the three-pointer. Good look from Takara Harrison. That would have been huge. Saints deficit is still 11. Best, step back 3. That's huge. Michaela Best makes it a 14-point game. She's got 8 points. That's her second made 3-ball today. Just under 6.5 minutes to play in the third quarter. 14-point lead for the visiting side. Bailey Johnson in the posts. Pass deflected. Bolton's able to pull it in anyway. Georgia Bolton lays it in. Not a great pass from Bailey Johnson, but Georgia Bolton's able to clean it up. She's got 6 points for the game. Michaela Best behind the three-point line. Backs it up. Best drives. Down to the corner. Santiago. Alina Santiago finds Tiara Jackson underneath. It's Halfacre. Three-pointer from the corner. No good. Rebounded by Harrison. Saints try to push it. Good defense from Indiana Northwest. Thormeyer gets inside, no good, but Johnson's there for the tip-in. It's 48-38. Saints are within 10. They were down by 22 in the first half. Tiara Jackson turnaround jumper off the back iron, doesn't get the roll. One and done this time for the Red Hawks. And again, the Saints have a chance to cut it to single digits. Pellegrini on the outside, guarded by Best, finds Georgia Bolton near the top. Bolton drives on Martin, crossover to the right. Bolton falling away from the basket, draws the foul. Saints have been fired up. Their head coach, John McGinty, was ejected late in the first half. On his way out, he tried to pump up the Saints bench. It seems to have worked. They've been playing inspired basketball over the last 10 minutes or so of game time. Bolton's got 2 foul shots here, and the first one is good. Saints have gone small here as Bailey Johnson is checked out, replaced by Akaya Baker. Bolton goes 1 of 2. It's a 9-point game. 18-9 was the last time that this deficit for St. Francis was under 10. Indiana Northwest is trying to increase it over 10 very quickly again here. Baker comes in on the help defense and forces the tie-up. Possession arrow favors Indiana Northwest, but good defense from Baker. Kennelly with her 3 fouls comes back in. Georgia Bolton gets a rest. 4:48 to play, third quarter. Michaela Best set to inbound. Up top to Emma Schmitz. 13 to shoot for the Redhawks. This is Tomlin. Abby Tomlin drives. Working against Harrison. Bounced outside. Samantha Martin. Pull up. Turnaround from Martin. Good. Nice touch from Samantha Martin. And that was a big shot. With the shot clock running down, with St. Francis having snatched the momentum. Indiana Northwest eases into a little bit more comfort as Harrison is called for the travel. Little stutter step before she put the ball on the floor. Nice turnaround for Indiana Northwest just moments ago. The Saints had the momentum. They had their bench behind them. They had the crowd behind them. Things were going their way. And a nice shot with the shot clock about to expire from Martin on one end and an unforced turnover on the other. And the Redhawks are reminded that they're still in control of this game. Best, step back 3, got it again. That's 2 in a row for Michaela Best. And she makes it a 14-point lead, 5 quick ones for Indiana Northwest. Under 4 minutes to play in the third. Harrison tries to get those 3 back and does. Big 3 for Takara Harrison. She's hit 2 here in the third. Best nearly lost the ball, picks it back up and gives it to Martin. Here's Halfacre, she's gone cold shooting. She gives it to Michaela Best. Down low Martin, poked away from behind by Talia Pellegrini. And a foul is called on Pellegrini, her second. Second foul on the Fighting Saints. Pellegrini leaves, Bolton returns. 3.5 minutes in the third. Schmidt guarded by the much smaller Baker, still misses thanks to the help from Georgia Bolton. Here comes Akaya Baker leading the charge. Baker kicks it outside for Kennelly, looking for her third 3 of the game, barely grazed the rim. Schmidt tracks down the rebound, but she traveled. Trying to keep her footing in bounds, she took a little hop. And it looked like Indiana Northwest had cleared it, but instead they give it right back. Officially, the Redhawks did take possession and turn it back over. So a fresh 30 on the shot clock for St. Francis. They don't need a whole lot of it as Kennelly takes the quick shot but misses. Big miss for the Fighting Saints. Their deficit is 11. Baker gets the steal. Deflected over to Lorelei Thormeyer. Ahead for Kennelly. Layup, no. Nia Kennelly's so good early in this game. Still very active lately, but she's missing some shots. Halfacre drives and misses, but she's fouled by Thormeyer, and that's number 3 on the Saints sophomore guard. The problems of the first half are starting to infect St. Francis here in the second half. Shots once again not falling. Halfacre gets 2 from the line and makes the first. Caitlin Halfacre made all 3 of her free throws in the first half. She's 5 for 5 now in the game. And she's got a game high 13 points. 13-point lead for Indiana Northwest. Under 3 minutes to play in the third. Saints were down by as many as 22. They fought back from that, made it a 9-point game. Kaya Baker drives and kicks. Schmidt deflects it out of bounds. Baker will inbound, 16 on the shot clock. Lobbed for Bailey Johnson, tracks it down beyond the 3-point line. Johnson from the elbow, jumper in the face of Tiara Jackson, no good. Kennelly follows and misses. And that's been the story of late for Mia Kennelly. She's there to make the play and has about 80% of it done, but can't finish. Halfacre backs it up, slows down the pace here. Tomlin gives it to Alvarez. Alexia Alvarez guarded outside by Canelli. Drives to the right. Alvarez off-balance shot, way off. Rebounded by Takara Harrison. Bounced ahead for Georgia Bolton. One-on-one with Tomlin, who comes up with the block, but got her with the body. And Georgia Bolton is headed to the foul line. Just over 2 minutes on the clock. Georgia Bolton is 1 of 2 from the line here in this third quarter. 3 of 4 for the game. She makes the first on this trip. St. Francis is hanging around. They're starting to run low on time. Still over 12 minutes to play in the game. So it's not as though they don't have enough time, but a lot's got to happen in that 12 minutes. Over the last 13 minutes of game time, they've cut the deficit from 22 to 11. So they're halfway there, about half the time they needed to do it in. Emma Schmidt trapped in the corner, and a jump ball as Kaya Baker again reached her hand on top of it. Possession arrow St. Francis. Baker has stepped in nice defensively. Now she's trying to do it on the offensive end, and she hits the jumper. 55-46. 9-point game once again. It's as close as the Saints have been so far in the second half. Tomlin works around the outside, bounces it to Alvarez on her right. Winged across court, Halfacre for 3. No good. That stroke was there early for Halfacre. It just has not been lately, but the Red Hawks fight for the rebound, force the tie-up, and they've got the possession arrow. Alexia Alvarez is playing a good basketball game today after not having gotten much playing time early in the season. She had only seen 9 minutes of action all season coming into today. She's played about 6 minutes in this game. She's got a few made baskets. Tomlin does not make that one. Knocked away by Schmidt. Gray dives on top of it, and Schmidt is called for the foul. That'll mean free throws for St. Francis. Saints almost coughed it up, but they end up reaping the benefits. They'll get 2 free throws out of the near turnover. Kiki Gray, who's only been on the floor for about 5 minutes tonight, has a chance to get her first points of the contest as she's at the line. This is the first. Four-point per game scorer. Gray, one more chance to get her first today, and she does. It's an 8-point game. This is as tight as it's been since the first quarter. 55-47. Alexia Alvarez nearly has it knocked away. Now the ball is knocked loose. Bolton comes up with it. Saints have numbers. It's Takara Harrison all the way in for 2. And it's a 6-point game. Final minute of the third quarter. It was a 15-point game at halftime. Saints have cut it to 6 late in the third. Alvarez, double teamed in the corner, kicks it out to Santiago. Jackson, good ball movement, finds the open shooter, and Michaela Best knocks down another. That has been Indiana Northwest's recipe for success in the second half. Every time it seems like things are slipping away. Get the ball into the hands of Michaela Best and let her hit a 3-pointer. That's her third of the quarter. Baker cannot answer with a 2-pointer, but Talia Pellegrini chases down the rebound. 3 seconds between the shot and game clock, so the Saints can hold on for the last shot here if they want it. It looks like they do. Baker makes a move with 9 to shoot, and Baker is bumped on the floor by Michaela Best. They're over the limit, so Kaya Baker will go to the line for 2 free throws. Michaela Best has 14 points now, 32% three-point shooter. Has hit 4 out of 5 today. And that has been the difference in this game as the Saints have turned up the pressure. Baker makes the first free throw. 58-50 with one more shot coming. 11 seconds left in the third. 1 of 2 for Baker. Pushed ahead by the Red Hawks. They've got 5 seconds. Best off to Halfacre. Schmidt tries the 3 and hits. And that's how the third quarter ends. A couple of 3-pointers for Indiana Northwest. St. Francis had cut the 22-point deficit all the way down to 6. But Indiana Northwest ends with a flourish. A 3 from Best and 1 from Schmidt as well. And they'll go into the fourth leading by double digits. 61-50 is our score. IUNW at 44% from beyond the arc today. Saints are not far behind at 37%. They've turned it around. They made 3 of their 5 3-point attempts in the third quarter. Overall for the game, still shooting just 27%. Saints on 2-point shots today are 7 for 33, which is just over 20%. And it goes without saying that needs to be worked on if they want to complete this comeback. Leading scorer for St. Francis now is Takara Harrison, and she hit a couple of 3-pointers in that third quarter. She's got 12 points now for the game. Kennelly closing in on a double-double, 10 points, 8 rebounds. Michaela Best is the leading scorer in the game with 14. Caitlin Halfacre right behind her at 13, although she now is just 1 of 7 from 3-point range. And Samantha Martin has 12 points for IUNW. Georgia Bolton, Talia Pellegrini closing in on double digits for the Fighting Saints. They both have 9 points so far in today's game. It's been an interesting one. It's a big run early in the second quarter, really late first quarter, early second, that let Indiana Northwest pull away. They built that 22-point lead with about 5 minutes to play in the first half. Since then, the Saints have fought back, and I've talked about it a lot today. The Saints have not played a bad game by any means against a good team. They've really put themselves in position to have the lead in this one. They just haven't been able to make a lot of open shots. And those started to fall in the third quarter, and that's why they've begun this comeback as Johnson misses the jumper to start the fourth quarter, but the rebound is deflected out of bounds by Indiana Northwest. .9:48 to play. Once again, they got a pretty decent look on the first possession of the half, or the quarter, I should say. Not this time. Johnson a little careless with the ball. It's knocked away, and a steal from Indiana Northwest. Here's Michaela Best. Best gives it to Tiara Jackson just outside the free throw line. Misses the jumper, but Emma Schmidt gets the offensive rebound, and Schmidt scores. She's got the last 5 for the Red Hawks. 7 points for the game for Schmidt off the bench. The lead is back up to 13. Saints need at least one more big run. Talia Pellegrini inside, layup, yes, and a chance at a 3-point play. Pellegrini's played well today, now 4 for 8 shooting. She's got 11 points. And for the first time today, Pellegrini goes to the free throw line. Takara Harrison comes in for Mia Kennelly. Pellegrini looking for her 12th point. She hits the free throw. 63-53. St. Francis, a big 3-point play once again, edging their way back into it. Trap in the corner. Georgia Bolton jumps in front of the pass and knocks it out of bounds. 22 on the shot clock. Best inbounds to Santiago. Alina Santiago has been quiet of late. She gives it up to Best. She's been loud all game. 5th 3-pointer. Michaela Best is 5 of 6 from beyond the arc. The lead is back to 13. Bolton in response makes it a 10-point game. Georgia Bolton hits the 3. Indiana Northwest calls timeout. 8:37 to play in the fourth. It's a 30-second timeout. Georgia Bolton now has 12 points. She, Pellegrini, and Harrison have all equaled one another for the team lead in scoring today, but Michaela Best has played true to her name today. She has unquestionably been the most important player on the floor in this game with her 5 3-pointers. And they've come at big moments. Every time it seems like the Saints are right there doing what they need to. Best knocks down a 3, and all of a sudden you look at the scoreboard and they're down by double digits again. 17 points, the majority of them have come here in the second quarter, or the second half, I should say. She's made 4 3-pointers. She's 4 of 4 from beyond the arc since halftime. Full court press from the Saints out of the timeout. Inbounded to Emma Schmidt. Schmidt gets it across to Best as they beat the press. Best fadeaway jumper, no good. She's nearly perfect from 3-point range, but she got cocky, took a 2-pointer, didn't work. Thormeyer drives to the left hand, pull up from the foul line. She misses the jumper, rebound tapped into the hands of Harrison. Credit to Johnson for keeping that alive. Pellegrini puts it on the floor. Floater over Jackson is good. Talia Pellegrini's got 14. Saints are not going down quietly in this. Santiago and Schmidt work their way across the timeline. Saints trying to put on the trap defense. Best lets it slip through her hands and out of bounds. For as great as Michaela Best has been in this game, particularly the second half, she has now given it up on back-to-back possessions, missing the jumper and now turning it over. She let the ball just slide through her fingertips. Georgia Bolton trying to make it a 2-possession game. Bolton circles the basket, kicks it out to Pellegrini. 3-pointer is good. 66-61. It's as close as it's been since the first quarter. And the Saints have already erased an 8 points of this deficit just in the fourth quarter alone. 7.5 minutes to play. It's Santiago on the drive. Alina Santiago blocked by Bailey Johnson, but she's fouled. And Johnson sends Santiago to the line. Second foul on both Bailey Johnson and St. Francis. Santiago has just 1 point in today's game. 63% foul shooter. It is now 1 of 3 today. Second shot is good. So she goes 1 of 2. The lead for Indiana Northwest is 6. Thormeyer off to Harrison as the Saints set up their offense. Johnson had the ball knocked loose, hung on to it though. Harrison drives, pull up from the baseline is good. 14 for Takara Harrison. Emma Schmidt pulls up, passes outside. Santiago crosses over and around Bolton. Down low, Tiara Jackson. Jackson fights her way up and scores. Tiara Jackson really hasn't gotten enough touches of late for Indiana Northwest. She's been tough to stop when she's gotten going. 11 points for her. Foul called on the offense. Indiana Northwest takes over possession. So as great as the run has been for St. Francis, they're still down by 6. Indiana Northwest is still in the driver's seat. Trying to tick that clock down, 6.5 minutes. Santiago layup good, her first field goal of the game. Comes at a big time late, putting her team up by 8. Now a 3-score lead for the Red Hawks. Canelli off to Harrison. Harrison drives to the left hand, spins into the paint, dishes it off to Bailey Johnson, wide open layup. And a great drive from Takara Harrison, who drew in a couple of defenders and at the last instant found the wide open shooter underneath. Timeout called, 6:06 to play in the game, 71-65 Indiana Northwest. Their lead in the first half was as big as 22. They were up by 15 at halftime and have not been able to increase the lead any more than that since the half. Adam Schwarzentraub trying to lead his team back into this game after head coach John McGinty was ejected in the first half. The ejection was one of the biggest moments of the game for a lot of reasons. And that's usually true when your head coach gets ejected, but in very specific ways in this game. For one thing, the Saints certainly have played with a lot more energy since he departed. I don't think that's because he's not on the bench. I think they were just fired up by his dismissal, which in that regard served its purpose for John McGinty. However, his ejection was a double technical foul, and it came during a stretch when the Saints were on a little bit of a run already. Indiana Northwest got 4 free points from the line on that ejection, and that's the difference between a 6-point game and a 2-point game right now. Caitlin Halfaker gets it into Tiara Jackson. Jackson backs in on Gray, and for the second time today, Tiara Jackson is called for 3 seconds. Turnover committed by Indiana Northwest. St. Francis basketball down by 6. They've been hot from outside this half. A 3-pointer here would make it a 1-possession game. Here's Gray at the free throw line, handing it off to Pellegrini. Layup, rolls around the rim, doesn't fall. Offensive rebound, second chance. Gray is blocked. Fight for the loose ball. Emma Schmidt tracks it down. 2 chances from in the paint, and the Saints are not able to finish. Huge stop for Indiana Northwest. Alina Santiago gives it up to Caitlin Halfaker. Halfaker pulls up, 2-point range. Her jumper misses. Rebounded by Kennelly. 5 minutes to play in a close game, and who would have thought that going back to the second quarter? Lorelei Thormeyer sets up the Fighting Saints offense. Off to Takara Harrison on the left. Harrison creates some space, misses the shot. Gray, another offensive rebound. That's 2 in a row for her. Thormeyer out to Pellegrini. Pellegrini drives in with the right hand, blocked by Samantha Martin. The defense has stepped up huge of late for Indiana Northwest, but they turn it over on the offensive end. That one was tipped by St. Francis, but Jackson got her hands on it before it went out of bounds. More good defense from the Fighting Saints. 4:40 to play. Both offenses now have quieted. And the Saints again have a chance to make this as close as a 1-possession game on this trip down the floor. Thormeyer bounces to Johnson at the top. She turns to face the basket. Jumper is good from the freshman Bailey Johnson. She's got 10 points. Saints are within 4. 11-7 was the last time it was this close. Halfaker's pass into Jackson leads to a foul. Johnson got Jackson from behind. That's just the 3rd on the Saints. It's the 3rd on Johnson. No free throws here for Indiana Northwest. Jackson outside to Martin. Samantha Martin dribbles a couple times, gives to Michaela Best. Best, step back, another 3. Short this time. That was the reliable momentum getter for Indiana Northwest all game prior to now. Harrison streaks through the defense and makes it a 2-point game. 71-69 on a big drive from Harrison, and Caitlin Halfaker walks with it. The Redhawks are imploding right now. These two teams have gone in total opposite directions in this 4th quarter. 2-point game, the Saints can tie or take the lead. Their last lead was 5-4. Here's a drive from Georgia Bolton. Out to Kennelly for the lead. No good, just off from Mia Kennelly. The crowd was ready to erupt. Indiana Northwest has just 1 timeout left. Excuse me, 3 timeouts left. Looking at the wrong number on the scoreboard. They've got time to slow momentum if they need to. Johnson called for the foul on the block of Tiara Jackson. It's number 4 on Bailey Johnson. Keisha Gray has played well in her limited time substituting Johnson in this game. That's number 5 on Johnson. So she's done. I'm sorry, I thought it was number 4. So Gray will be counted on to lead the way in the middle the rest of the way for the Fighting Saints as Bailey Johnson fouls out. 3:20 to go, 2-point game. First free throw is good from Jackson. She's got 12 points, one of 4 double-digit scorers for Indiana University Northwest in this game. She misses the second, so it's still a one-possession game. Thormeyer sets up Georgia Bolton. Bolton gives it off to Talia Pellegrini. Takara Harrison's played great today. She passes to her left. It's Thormeyer into the post for Gray. Gray backs in. Back to Thormeyer. Three-pointer. She ties the score. Lorelei Thormeyer's first points today make it 72 all, 2:55 to go. Timeout called by Indiana Northwest. We're tied for the first time since early in the first quarter. It was 2-2 the last time this game was even. The last time St. Francis had a lead was 5-4. And all of a sudden, it is Indiana Northwest playing back on their heels. The Redhawks led by 22 in the second quarter. They were up by 15 at halftime. It was an 11-point game at the start of this fourth quarter. But St. Francis has outscored Indiana Northwest 22-11 over the last 7 minutes and 5 seconds. In fact, Saints have 46 points in the second half. I talked about it a lot earlier. Saints in many ways were outplaying the Redhawks early in the game. It really came down to just making shots. If they could just get to their season average, they'd have a shot in this one. Well, that's exactly what they've done in the second half. They've just gotten back to their season average. They're not shooting an incredible percentage, 34% for the game, but that's right around what they usually do. And that's been enough to make this a tie score. Michaela Best crosses over, tries for two, and misses badly. Offensive rebound, Jackson scores and one. Sometimes that's the best kind of a miss. Didn't get the rim, and so Jackson was in position to grab the loose ball. And now a chance for a three-point play. Gray checks out after committing the foul. Kennelly is in. And the free throw is good. A three-point play for Tiara Jackson. And Indiana Northwest has reclaimed the lead, 75-72. Pellegrini gives to Kennelly up top. Here's Bolton on the wing. Back to Takara Harrison. Harrison puts it on the floor, driving from the left side, lays it up and misses. And Kennelly goes over the back in a fight for the rebound. A loose ball foul on Mia Kennelly is number 4 on her. And it's going to mean free throws for IUNW. Saints clawed their way back into a tie position, but it is so hard to maintain that momentum. And they haven't after tying it at 72. Indiana Northwest in position to make this a 5-point game with one of their best free throw shooters on the line for 2. Halfacre is 5 of 5 from the line so far today. She had just 3 attempts all season coming into today. She's 6 for 6 in the game and has 14 points now. She made them both, 77-72, 2:21 to play. Still plenty of time for the Saints to come back in this one. They've got to recapture that edge they had moments ago in erasing the 11-point start of the quarter deficit. Harrison, turnaround in the lane, short, and a rebound to Samantha Martin. So the Saints have come up empty on back-to-back possessions. Indiana Northwest has extended their lead both times. Jackson's pass intercepted by Harrison. Here comes Takara Harrison, stopping at the three-point line. She gives it to Kennelly. Kennelly drives and kicks. Thormeyer from the corner, drives the baseline. Out to Georgia Bolton, open three, no good. Rebound Kennelly, Kennelly back up, no good. Indiana Northwest clears it after another empty possession for the Saints, 3 in a row in which they were unable to score. Final 90 seconds of the game. Alina Santiago takes her time, makes a move with 13 on the shot clock, driving on Thormeyer, flips it off the glass. No good. Rebound tipped outside. On the floor, Kennelly dives on top of it, and they call it a jump ball. Possession arrow favors Indiana Northwest. 5 on the shot clock for the Redhawks as they reclaim possession. 71 seconds to play in the game. The Saints absolutely need a stop here. Inbounded to Jackson, poked away and stolen. Bolton had the deflection. Harrison picks up the loose ball. Takara Harrison, layup is good. 3-point game with a minute to play. A steal leads to a layup. And once again, the Saints need a stop. Through the hands of Santiago. Somehow she saves it, but right to Mia Kennelly. Ahead to Georgia Bolton. Bolton is fouled by Michaela Best. 49 seconds on the clock. Georgia Bolton's got 2 free throws coming to make it a 1-point game. Bolton has made 5 of 6 from the line today. She's got 12 points. This will be a 1-possession game regardless of the outcome of these 2 free throws. Bolton's first shot is good. 19 seconds between the shot and game clock, so whether she makes this or misses this, Saints don't need to foul. Indiana Northwest has had some problems here in the second half holding on to the basketball. Bolton makes the second. St. Francis has done a great job of forcing turnovers. The Saints get a stop. They'll have the ball back with a chance to take the lead. It's Best and Santiago going back and forth up top. Shot clock under 20. Redhawks taking as much time off the clock as they can. Santiago with 12 to shoot. Bounces it over to Best, and a foul is called on Georgia Bolton. That'll send Alina Santiago to the line with 29 seconds left. That's a tough foul against Georgia Bolton. Redhawks obviously were trying to run clock there more than anything. But with 10 on the shot clock, they really had no momentum going towards the basket, and with plenty of time left, the Saints did not want to send anybody to the line. But it works out in the short term as Santiago misses the first free throw. One more coming up. Off the back of the rim, and that misses as well. Fight for the rebound, won by Tiara Jackson, and now the shot clock is off. Kennelly is letting Jackson hold it, and finally time called by Indiana Northwest. Saints are going to have to foul if they can't force a turnover. Just a killer moment in the game right there. 1-point game. Santiago missed 2 free throws, and the Saints were a rebound away from taking the ball down the floor with a chance to have the lead for the first time since the opening minutes. But instead it is Indiana Northwest's ball. They'll have to get it in. No easy feat against a fired up St. Francis defense. Saints have played great on this side of the floor this whole second half. They forced 14 turnovers since halftime. They've only committed 9 all game for themselves. Saints were down by 22 points in the first half. They were down by 15 at halftime. They were down by as many as 14 points with time running down in the third quarter. There was very little reason to believe, as recently as that third quarter, that the Saints had any shot in this game. But they have roared back. They tied the score at 72 before 5 points in a row from Indiana Northwest. And now it is Redhawks basketball. Ahead by 1, 21.6 on the clock. There's enough time that the Saints wouldn't necessarily look to foul immediately. They're going to try to force a turnover. Could go for the steal a couple of times before they need to send somebody to the line. Lobbed in for Jackson, back out to Santiago. Santiago is wrapped up by Harrison. So Santiago missed 2 free throws just moments ago. We'll see if she can redeem herself this time around. She's not a great foul shooter. She's missed a handful of them in today's game. 2 of 6 from the line. 63% for the season. She gets to the line a lot. She misses her third in a row. And if she makes it 4 straight misses, the question is, can the Saints get the rebound? They were unable to 10 seconds ago, rather, in game time. Second shot is good. So 78-66. And Adam Schwarzentraub calls the timeout. 17.8 on the clock. 2-point deficit for the Fighting Saints. There's a lot of time left. So the Saints right now are not thinking overtime necessarily. They can go quickly, and a 2-pointer, of course, would tie the score. A 3-pointer would give them the lead, but I wouldn't think they'll be holding on to the final seconds here. They'll probably try to get something going relatively quickly towards the basket. The timeout will advance the ball to half court. You go quickly, you miss, and there's an opportunity for second chance points, and that's been the bread and butter for the Fighting Saints today. 19 offensive rebounds. Actually, maybe you can make an argument the biggest problem for St. Francis in this game, and the reason they've had to fight so hard just to get back into it, is because despite all those offensive rebounds, they haven't really been able to score much. Just 10 second chance points off of their 19 offensive boards. They would just as soon do it on their first attempt here. Kennelly, Bolton, Harrison, and Pellegrini are on the floor, with Lorelei Thormeyer set to do the inbounding. 18 seconds is darn near an eternity at the end of a basketball game. So it's not do or die necessarily here for the Saints, but obviously a pretty big moment as they try to tie this one up or take their first lead since the opening minutes. Harrison passes to Thormeyer. Thormeyer drives, now the clock under 10 seconds, and it's getting close to do or die. Kennelly backs her way in, 4 seconds, off the glass, no good. Rebound Jackson, she's fouled with 1.4 on the clock. Not a great look for Mia Kennelly. The Saints just didn't have anything going on that possession. And now the Saints have to pray that Jackson misses at least one of these. If she hits them both, it's essentially game over. Saints do still have a timeout, so if it's still a one-possession game when they get the ball back, they can advance it to half court. First free throw bounces off the front of the rim, but goes down. And Jackson can now put the game away with this shot. She misses it. Rebound Bolton. Quick timeout. 9/10 of a second left. So again, they're advancing the ball to half court. This game is not over. It probably should be. Indiana Northwest has been bad from the line down the stretch. They are 2 of 6 on free throws in the final minute, and any one of those 4 misses could have put an end to this one. Because they're advancing the ball to half court, essentially a full second to get a 3-point shot off is plenty of time to get a good look. They had the ball back with 17.8 on the clock, and were not able to get a good shot off. Now they've got 1.1. They have added 0.2 of a second back on. Saints were down by 22. They are 1 shot away potentially from overtime. Indiana Northwest is 1 second away potentially from their second conference win. Thormeyer set to inbound. Gets it into Harrison. From the corner, the 3-pointer is no good. And Indiana Northwest escapes Joliet with a 79-76 victory. Their 3rd straight win over the Fighting Saints going back to last year. And an incredible second half rally from St. Francis. Had a lot of people in this gym feeling like the home team was going to come out on top, but it doesn't quite happen. Down by 15 at halftime. Saints fought back and tied the score 72 all, but 7 of the final 11 points belong to Indiana University Northwest, and the Redhawks pick up a 79-76 victory. They improve their record to 5-4 on the season, 2-1 in conference play. The Saints drop their first CCAC game of the year. They go to 5-4 as well, and 2-1 in conference. Overall today, St. Francis shot 32% from the field, which really was their undoing. It was rough in the first half before they turned things around. Indiana Northwest was at 48%. Both teams shot the ball well from outside. 44% for Indiana Northwest. The Saints made 10 of 25 and even 40% from beyond the three-point arc. St. Francis was out-rebounded in this game, 46-43. Tiara Jackson had a double-double with 16 points and 18 rebounds. Samantha Martin also had an impressive double of 12 points and 15 rebounds. The Saints had 5 double-digit scorers, led by Takara Harrison's 18. They got 17 points from Talia Pellegrini, 14 from Georgia Bolton. Bailey Johnson and Mia Kennelly both had 10. Kennelly finished with a double-double, 10 rebounds to go along with her 10 points. Johnson just missed out on the same. She had 10 points and 9 rebounds in this game. Chances were there late in the game for St. Francis. They forced 21 turnovers, 14 of those in the second half, and those were, like I said, largely forced. They were not a lot of mistakes made by Indiana Northwest, at least not unforced mistakes. 12 steals in the ball game today for the Fighting Saints. But ultimately, their fight was not enough. They outscored Indiana Northwest in the second half 50-38, but they fall 3 points short. 2 chances to win it, or at least to tie it, in the final 20 seconds. Mia Kennelly missed a turnaround from inside, and Takara Harrison missed the three-pointer from the corner. Once again, our final score, Indiana Northwest 79, St. Francis 76. The Fighting Saints are back at it at home on Wednesday night, 5:30 start time, a non-conference game against Aquinas College before they return to CCAC play a little bit later in the month. With the loss, they fall to 5-4. They'll try to make it a 2-1 stretch at home for this 3-game homestand with a win against Aquinas on Wednesday. That'll do it for today's broadcast of St. Francis women's basketball. But our broadcast of St. Francis men's basketball is right around the corner. About 25 minutes from now, the men will take on the men of Indiana Northwest. Hopefully you're with us for that here on the USF Sports Network. I got our next broadcast of women's hoops will be Wednesday at 5:30 as they take on Aquinas. That's it for now. 79-76, Indiana Northwest, the victors. I'm Terry Bonadonna signing off for the moment. Talk to you later.